The last time we did a public community information session were under rather precarious circumstances. Fortunately, alhamdulillah, we are in a very constructive circumstances right now, which is the first ever proper and organized, according to the bylaws, trustees, Board of Trustees elections that are going to take place. Now, we are going to change the date of the election. As you know, on the certificate of reincorporation, we had put in as June 9th. So what we're going to do is to facilitate, it's a Sunday, there are certain events happening. What we're going to do is, based on a Board of Trustees resolution and my conversation with Suffolk County, where I have to request an amended request to change the date, which will be approved. We're going to hold the elections on Saturday, June 15th. Now, Eid is most likely 16th or 17th. On 15th will probably most likely be Yom Arafah, the day of Arafah, which means that a lot of people would probably be fasting also. So what we're going to do is the elections are going to be held around this time. By that time, the Asr Salat would probably be 6:30, 6:45. So we're going to do from Asr till Maghrib, and actually, because a lot of people, I presume, will be fasting, so we'll arrange for iftari on that day here also, so that people can do that. Now, the reason why we have to do it within a certain time is to follow the laws. Because it is June 9th, and since we're not going to do on June 9th, and plus you'll see as I talk about the process and requirements, one of the main reasons why we're doing this session today is so that people can understand why what I'm about to explain is necessary for the first ever elections. Now, if we had been holding these elections on a regular basis as per the bylaws, which according to the current bylaws is going to be every 2 years, we would not be needing this much time or this much explanation. But as you all attended, or most of you attended, at least 111 members attended, the January 28th reincorporation meeting, these elections, normally speaking, usual and customarily speaking, would have happened on that day. We staggered it because we were coming out of a long-drawn understanding of bylaws and restructuring of bylaws, and as a result, we got permission from Suffolk County Clerk that we get the reincorporation certificate, but we can stagger these elections. So these elections are the first ever Masjid Darul Quran elections, proper and organized according to the bylaws. In the last 35 years, we have had 1 or 2 elections according to the similar format, but this time we're going to do it exactly in the manner that bylaws necessitate and the way we did reincorporation. So if you go on MDQ NY YouTube and you look at the reincorporation January 28th video, we will be following the similar format. This is also being live streamed and recorded, so people will also be able to look at this over the next 30 days, which is right now, today is May 11th, and we're going to hold the elections on right after Asr Salat, from Asr to Maghrib, depending on what time it takes, how long it takes, on June 15th. This will also be transmitted and it will be put on the website that is the date of the elections, June 15th, after Asr Salat. The process, because it is the first time, just like we did last time, the reincorporation on January 28th, alhamdulillah, that went really well. This time also the elections, because it's the first time, hopefully, inshallah, it should go well. That's why we're doing this session a month before, so that everybody understands the process. Specifically, the membership criteria and people who are eligible to vote. So I'm going to get into the process on 3 levels. One is fulfillment of the membership criteria, that is eligibility to vote, who can vote in these elections. Number 2, the criteria for the candidates that are going to be elected, not selected, not nominated, but elected for the Board of Trustees. Now, from the Board of Trustees, this is not what was not previously happening, a very important point for everyone to understand. The Board of Trustees, we are electing for 9 Board of Trustees positions. Normally, it would not be like that. Because we're doing it for the first time, that's why it's this many number. Usually, it's staggered. It's 3 and 3 and 3, and people change. But this time, for the first elections, we are establishing a database of properly run elections as well as properly constituted membership. So, second point will be the eligibility of the candidates and their submission of their papers to be part of the candidacy, that they should be one of those people who should be on the balloting, which will lead into the third step, which is the balloting, how actually everyone will come and vote. So I am going to show you the master list, which will be published by Monday. Everyone will have the ability to access this list on Monday, and they will be able to cross-reference and verify their criteria, and I'm going to go through that so that you understand what is the criteria. I have created, I use the word, most of the time you will see me using we have done that. The reason why this is the only instance I'm using the word I, because this particular list is something that I singly, individually worked on as a master list for the reincorporation, getting information from various sources, banking, banking and our online list, as well as paper. So what I've done is I've gone over last 3 years of available data. In fact, data before last 3 years is very scarcely available. Last 3 years of data, and the criteria right now, according to the bylaws, because we are doing this as an extension of what we did on January 28th, the criteria is a little bit different. What we're going to do is we're going to make it very all-inclusive. So the master list, as if you can see on the screen, it might be a little bit small, but I'll show you that right now Masjid Darul Quran has a database of 444 members. 444 members. If we were to hold this election today, only 72 of you would be eligible to vote. If we were to hold this election today, only 72 people would fulfill the eligibility criteria. Why? How come? And that is what we are going to change. What we're going to do is our goal is going to be to make all these people eligible, also to create a master database. So if you look at this right column, so the way I've organized this, last name, this is how you're going to see the list. There will be a link provided, just like there is, I sent a link through text messaging, where you saw masjiddarulquran.com community session. So that's how you saw the community session. Same way, you're going to have a list, masjiddarulquran.com membership list. But it will have only this information, not demographic information, because that would come under the privacy laws and HIPAA violations. So we're only going to do so that list is okay to have published. But what will it have? It will have a column membership date, which is the first date that membership form was filled of the person. The second thing will be, it will say membership expired. Now, that person whose membership started on 6/1/23, that means it was 1 year. I have all the data, I have verified it, and their membership expires on June 1st, 2024. When is the election? June 15th. Is this person eligible to vote? Good. So now we go to the next column, renewal date. When did this person renew or not renew? So now on this first row, you see this person has not renewed yet, even though he's so close this is just an example, renewal date, and then let's say that person renews today, May 11th. But their expiration date is June 1st. If they renew, as long as they renew their membership before June 1st, their renewal will expire a year later if they're doing 1-year membership. If they're doing 5-year membership, it would, and I'll show you examples. There are people who have paid for 5-year membership. That date will go over here. I want to see whether that person has a membership. So now there are 2 criteria that lead finally to eligible to vote. At the end of the day, the 2 gentlemen that are sitting here, Brother Fazal and Brother Tayyib, will be on the brother's side, election inspector, so to speak. Sister Marine and Sister Shala will be here on that side. If they don't see a green here, which is a list that I am going to finalize before the election, and we'll go through the process how people are going to be given the next 30 days to be able to fulfill this criteria. Now, we could have made it very stringent. And according to the bylaws, if you have not been member for at least 180 days, you're automatically out of the eligibility to vote. We're modifying that because, and there is a legal basis for that, because the reincorporation happened on January 28th. We were supposed to do it at that time. Because we were under certain, what I call precarious circumstances, we were not able to do that. And during that time, people did not get a chance to renew their membership. So there are certain, what we call extenuating circumstances that legally allows us to change and modify this criteria for this election. From here onwards, what is in the bylaws will be followed, and except for if we at some point amend, as all the bylaws are always an evolving document. Tomorrow, a board of trustees can come and amend that 180 days criteria should be 90 days, whatever. But as right now, we are modifying, we're allowing everyone, all these 444 members, opportunity to be able to vote in this first ever election. At the end of the day, membership oath form and application form, because you're going to fill out an application, behind it is the membership oath form. That in its physical form, and I'll show you whether it comes through online, whether you come and submit it here in person in the next 30 days, I better see an oath form and a renewal, membership application and oath form, fees paid for you to be eligible to vote. You will have that up from now, from Monday. Once you get the list, everyone can go and see their name and criteria. Now, there might be certain people who might have paid and I might not have recorded it because I don't have that information. Trust me when I tell you that putting together a list of 444 people of Masjid Darul Quran was not an easy task. It took me about 2 months getting information from everybody, digging down in the office of Masjid Darul Quran, finding papers for the last 3 years. Then I finally came up with this list. So you see a lot of these are renewals that are empty. That's why you see no, no, no. Where do you see yes? I want to give the examples of yes also. So it's very clear by now, and I'm going to give everybody, you can note down your questions once I'm done. At this point, like I said, of the 444 members, 72, if we hold the elections today, only 72 are eligible. How are they eligible? So you see, this person's first membership application was filled out on February 23rd, 2023. That means they are member, and this is a 1-year membership. They paid their membership dues so they are members till February 23rd, 2024. This person in particular, I'm hiding the names right now, this person in particular decided 13 days before his membership or her membership expired to renew their membership. So when did they renew their membership? February 10th, 2024, which means now they are members till February 10th, 2025. or actually it should be February 23rd because they did that, so February. And I also have physically their membership form and oath form. They fulfill all, this person fulfills all the criteria, hence they get a green yes. So on that day, when this particular person comes, whether it's on this side or on this side, what are these people going to do? They're going to allow him to vote. Make sense? Okay, simple. So now you will see a lot of yourselves in there with a no. Some of you have paid your membership dues, but I don't have your oath form. So one criteria out, you're not eligible to vote. Why are we doing it this way? This is the first ever election. This masjid does not have a systematic, sustainable, stable database of members. This is the first time we're going to do it. So the first time, what I would like is that all 444 members, or however many we can get, at least we have their oath form. Once you fill out an oath form, you don't have to do it every time you renew your membership. So whoever's oath form, these 72 people that are in the green light are people whose oath forms are there, who've renewed their membership on time, and I have their application form. So they've fulfilled all the criteria. Those who do not are marked with a no. So there might be, again, I repeat, there might be, you might say, well, I paid my dues recently, but you might have paid it through online. Online right now, our current online system does not have the ability for you to do an oath form. So while you did that, I do not have an oath form. Why? Religious cooperation law requires that you have the criteria of the membership fulfilled based on what criteria you set. So what do our bylaws say? Our bylaws say that as long as a person has a membership application with its fees paid, has an oath form, is a consecutive member for 2 years, 2 consecutive years. We're giving the benefit of the doubt this time that everybody is eligible to vote and allowing people, even if they became member in the last year or 2 years, all 44. Why are we doing that? Again, I repeat, so that we can have a master database of people. I hope that is becoming clear that the reason why we are sort of traveling back in time and making sure from here onwards, next election will be in 2026. We're not going to have to do that because the people who will administer this database, all they're going to look at is whether the fees have been paid on time or not. We're not going to have to go through the oath form. So every new member that's going to come, and eventually we are going to have an electronic form also of the oath form, just like when you open your iOS on iPhone and you have a user agreement that you can sign, but not this time. This time, we are going to have everything available to us, just like a patient medical chart, the original chart. We need, this is the first ever time, that much effort everybody has to make. And we are providing 30 days. Election is on June 14th. I am even allowing that it should be even if you do this by June 14th. By June 14th. But at least that much effort everybody has to make. How are they going to make this effort? Couple of ways. On our website, once you get this list, you will look up your name. The name is alphabetized by last name. You will look up your name and you will, for example, come and you will say that, I paid, my membership started on 14th April and it expired on 14th April of 2024. Election is in June, I'm not eligible. You will then pay your fees. Either through Mohit, you can pay your fees through Mohit, through Zelle, through check, through cash. But you have to have a form with that. So on our website, the forms are right there. The membership form as well as Dave, can you help me? So I can. Okay, if you can go to About Us, or actually, yeah, Membership. Okay, so if you go on Membership, you see Membership and Oath Form PDF, or Membership and Oath Form Online. If you click on Online, it takes you to the Mohid system, where you can pay your membership fee. You cannot fill out your Oath Form, that's not integrated there. So what do I suggest? If you can go back to the About Us. What I suggest is you open the Membership and Oath Form PDF. This PDF, again, you have from now until June 14th. You print this out, you fill this form out, you can either scan and email, I'll give you the email address, membership@masjiddarulquran.com. And I'll repeat that at the end. Right now, I'm going through the process first. Or you can bring it to the masjid. Now, if anyone says, then I'll have to quote, as a counter, quote that hadith, that if you can't come to the masjid one time in the next 30 days, one time in the next 30 days, with your proof of membership, and I'm standing in a masjid, and I'm sure there are certain spirits that are not going to be happy with me. I'm not even asking you to come to pray. And the hadith says that if you have a masjid nearby, then the Prophet ﷺ said that if at least the male brothers, if they don't go, I wish I could burn their houses. So in the next 30 days, one day, you will come, at least one day, and make sure that you have a membership oath form signed, submitted. Even if you cannot come that one day, we're even giving you the opportunity to scan the form and email it. But that form, on that day, the only way you are going to be eligible to vote is if there is a green yes, eligibility to vote, if that on next to your column, there is a yes. Now, we discussed amongst ourselves also, and it would be very cumbersome for any of us to be assigned to reach out to all these people. Email, phone. I would not want to put any member of the executive committee or the board of trustees in this predicament. So instead, I created this master list so that you can see yourself and take the initiative to make sure that you fulfill the criteria for membership. A huge, huge amount of leniency being given in terms of criteria who is eligible to vote. Your criteria is at least you have to be a member for 180 days. We are making it inclusive. So our goal is that all 444 members, even though they may not be able to come on that day to vote, they may not be able to, at least my goal is not necessarily that people should come here to vote. My goal is I want to see a first ever proper master list with membership and oath forms, so we fulfill both the spiritual, Islamic, and religious corporation law criteria of the definition of what is a member, which is one who prays and pays. One who prays and pays. So you pray. Now, we are also letting go of the criteria. Normally, it is in the religious corporation law, a deacon, a minister, an imam, who actually, at the time of voting, qualifies the voter, whether I see this person or not. We're even not doing that. You are able to do, but we're also not going to do is just because you are Zelling or Venmoing $100 as a fees that you can vote. No. You have to come at least to the masjid to be able to participate in its election of the people that will then serve this masjid. Who are the people that we are going to elect is what I'm going to do next. So as far as the membership criteria, again, to recap, this list will be available through a link. You will go and verify. Please don't get offended if you have paid and you are still a no, because the whole point is to verify this. If I put a no next to your name, it's just because I did not see the membership's dues come through the banking channels, or I was not able to verify because it was a Zelle payment and maybe I did not look at the name. Whatever it is, some work you have to do as members. You have to put in that effort and you have to tell the masjid, no, I am a member and I am going to fulfill the oath form. I am going to come to the masjid in the next 30 days to make sure, as long as you have the intention of participating in this election. Even if you don't want to participate in this election, I still highly advise, exhort, encourage you to please go through this process so this masjid from here onwards can have a proper database and then digitize for the next elections so that it does not become, but at least we should have the initial forms. We are not going to digitize anything right now except for your scan form. That's as digital as we're going to get. No integration, because then there are a lot of issues where one person can just, sign on everybody, and we need proper user agreements where it has to go from the email. That is too cumbersome right now. This is the easier part, and it fulfills the hadith of the Prophet, where at least you enter the masjid and come here, even if it is for the purpose of fulfilling your membership criteria. Is that clear? Yeah, please go ahead. Just yours, of course.
That number two, I know when I became a member, I was allowed to pay a lifetime membership. I don't know if that's still effective or.
Right, good question. So, because of the reincorporation and the new bylaws, and because of that membership at that time, that criteria was not properly ratified. It didn't go through the process. So for example, if you are one of those people who paid lifetime membership fee for yourself, and I believe you are referring to the $1,200 fee? Or $1,000. So for that, instead of making that lifetime, it's going to be 10 years. So whatever you pay, for example, I have a lot of people in here that paid $1,200 and circled lifetime as per the previous form, and it was for husband and wife. So what we did was 600, 6 years husband, 6 years wife. So, yes.
So what about people who say they want to sign up now? Is that possible or not?
Yes.
Okay, so they're not on this list.
Oh, you mean new members? People who want to become, this is a very good question and a difficult question. Given that all that we have done, the leniency that we have allowed, people who want to become new members, that's fine. They can become new members as long as they fulfill this criteria. That's why I said June 14th. It's because the first time, because the first ever elections. But at the same time, 444 people. And I'll come to that in the next session, next topic. Try not to do that because you want to campaign and make members so they can vote for certain people. Don't do that. Don't do.
Doing it a definitive yes?
Yes, definitive yes. Definitive yes. Exhortative no. But definitive yes, yes. As long as, yes, I'm not going to stop anybody from becoming a member if this encourages them to do what we are trying to do, which is to have but if you have to fulfill this criteria. This criteria has to be fulfilled. Because if I say no, then you'll be, well, why are you allowing the other people till June 14th to fulfill? Because there are 220 people who are definitively on expired list, that are not eligible to vote. So if I'm allowing them, then I would have to allow that. So which is why, yes, but remember, the cutoff point is Friday, June 14th. That does not mean that you race yourselves to make members. Let people who want to really become members, there should be no campaigning. Now, in the bylaws, there was a line, there used to be, that people who want to be candidates should not campaign. We actually took that line out because people invariably campaign. So the reason why we took it out was because so that people understand that this is a masjid that you frequent. You come here, you know the community. Elect those people that are going to be part of the candidacy. Elect those people that you honestly think will serve this community better. Those are the people that should be elected. So that I will transition that into the second part, the candidacy. The criteria is very clear. Again, the list will be available on the website, but as a separate link, just like we published darulquran.com community session, but it's nowhere on the website except for when you click on that link. So this will allow, yes?
In terms of the election, I don't know if you're going to cover this later, but what is the, let's say we have 200 people that fulfill the criteria. Is there a minimum required amount of people for the election to be ratified or verified or whatever?
Yes. So the bylaw says that we have to have 20% of the eligible membership present in order for an election to be verified. Yes, but I don't know by the time on June 14th, this 444 list will be what number. So if that number, as of right now, let's say if all 450, let's for argument's sake just use the number 400. So if it's 400, then it's 20% of 400.
So just to clarify, anybody who become a member from now to next 30 days and fill out the vote form, they can vote. That's it, yes.
Okay. Yes.
You stated that this list, for example, is the green one. If you they saw the who is the voter, we saw that he is a green list, that is okay, right? But previously category we do not fill up this category. Then you say that whoever is the right now is the current member. For example, I am going to the member tomorrow. I can do the vote, but before some people is the member. He is member since maybe 5 years before or 6 years before.
I only have data, we only have raw data, discrete data only going back to 2.5 years, that's it. We don't have data before that. I'm starting, yeah, that's the August of 2021, that's where I started. We don't have any data before that.
2.5 year data
Yeah.
is data.
Yeah. Yeah. Which works out.
So again, I tell to you, they clarify this one, the whoever before June 14th
Yes.
is the Friday, Friday. Friday, what time is the around, is the whole 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock, 10 o'clock?
I mean,
No, it's not laughing.
no, it's not a, okay, no, I'm saying you, which is very good that you're being very specific. All right,
Transparency.
okay, all right.
Maybe some people coming is the 10 o'clock, he said I have a 10 vote, so you say no.
Okay, I'm going to go by the usual and customary, as long as you do it before 11:59 p.m. midnight. Yeah.
So,
But you're very right. Brother Farooq, you're very right. Anything that comes to me after June 14th is not eligible.
not allowed. But June 14th, whoever do the vote, he has a new or brand new
Right.
or old, whatever, just one matter, he or she can do the vote. Thank you so much.
You said 11:59, that's on the 15th, not the 14th, because 14th is the election.
No, 15th is the election day. Just check, 15th is a Saturday, right? Yeah. Shh, okay, all right, yeah, no cross-talking, please.
So about this section here, right? Can we say specifically some individual like imam or someone definitive that is going to collect those? Right?
Yes, okay.
I don't know if you mentioned it, right? But if I
No. Good question. I was gonna, okay. So, people who are going to come, the person who's authorized to collect over here is always going to be the Imam Sahib, okay? You will only give it to the Imam Sahib. If Imam Sahib is not here, so now for that, I have another. I'm going to work out a schedule with Imam Sahib. Any day you can come in the next 30 days, but there will be designated times. For example, just hypothetically speaking, I'll consult with Imam Sahib on his schedule. I wasn't able to do that yet. What I'm going to do is, let's say Sunday, Zohar to Asr, Imam Sahib will be available every Sunday from now on just for this purpose. What that schedule will be, I will consult with him based on his availability. But yes, there will be a designated time, but if you are, for whatever reasons, your work reasons, your commute reasons, you're not able to come in that time period, then it will be any other time. But Imam Sahib is, by and large, always here. So there might be certain times where he might not be here. In that case, Imam Sahib will designate maybe assistant, but most of the time, I don't think we're going to have a problem. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Some members are overseas, or they cannot come for some reason.
Right.
Is there an option to vote by mail or email or
No.
Early election or after election?
No.
Does it have to be here?
Yeah, because the bylaws say there's no proxy. Yeah, it states in the bylaws. And by the way, I would really highly recommend another exercise that you should do in the next 30 days, is read your bylaws. We took a long time to do them after a long drawn circumstances. So please do read them. But yes, the answer to your question is no, there's no proxy voting. You have to be physically present. Sir. I think that's an excellent idea. I think you and I can speak with the Imam Sahib, and in fact, you take the lead on that, and since you make the announcements on Fridays, so why don't you take the lead on that, and you make that announcement? So no, it's being recorded. You take that lead, and you do that. Very good. Okay, because we have Maghrib. What time is Maghrib Salat? 8 o'clock. Okay, I need to move forward. Yes, sir. Yeah, you just have to check your list. You might have given them, it might have gotten lost or something. It should be there. It should be there. But for example, after this session, you can check with, oh, by the way, anybody who right now, after the session, wants to check with me on their particular forms, the selective individuals that are here, please feel free. After the Maghrib Salat, I'll stay here for another 30 minutes. And if anybody wants to verify themselves right now that you are here, that your form is here, or it's not here, please, I'll stay here for another 30 minutes. Yes, please.
Okay, so you are giving the deadline for June 14th.
Yes.
Half 9 will be back. So next day when we will come here with the master list, if somebody is not there, it's going to make a lot of hectic. If people will come with a form like we did last night, how we are not in the list, if they will not be in the list.
If they're, well, I'll try to, I know I'll try to make sure that I get that by, because the election are going to be around 6 p.m. So I'll make sure, I'll do my best to make sure, in fact, or not the 5 of us, actually will make sure that we incorporate the data, which is why, yes, the cutoff time is 14, but please don't wait till the last minute. Thank you for that point. Don't wait till the last minute, because you're going to make it very difficult for us. As it is, it has been a very cumbersome job to come up with this list and to hold this elections in a proper format. So please do try to, I should have actually made the cutoff point a week earlier, but nevertheless, but at least some things we'll leave to people's own, yes?
Nowadays it's online, right? So you can have a video call or video conference. So let's say somebody have a legitimate reason that he couldn't come or something. Can he make a video call and then you can verify everything and then can he vote, after that? That's all.
Can you do that in US elections? Can you do that in Suffolk County elections?
You can do by mail, you can do early election.
No, you said, yeah, but we are holding first ever elections in 35 years. Do you think we're ready for mail?
If you're comparing to the US election,
Right.
that's why I asked by mail or early election or something.
And that would be a valid point. Unfortunately, we are not, this is the first time. We're actually trying to create the first database. And plus, it is for your local masjid that you should be visiting and frequenting. Right.
That makes sense. But
Right.
if it's irrelevant and you're not, you're not
Right.
knowing us, you shouldn't give that.
Are you planning to do a video call? Are you planning to do a video call? Okay. So if there is somebody,
There are some people who actually ask me.
okay,
They might not be back.
okay. Right. So okay, in that, yes, for that reason, let me consult with the lawyer and see if he allows us to do that as per religious corporate. I personally have been told that no matter what the reason, proxy voting, whether video, I've been already told that. Based on your request, I will consult with him again. No, sure. I will consult again. I have been very specifically told, no matter what the reason, proxy voting, video, mail is not allowed. In this instance, I will consult with him again, and I will have an answer by Monday. Yeah, just one sec. Yes.
Yes, so who is eligible to be a member? Because like let's say I have 50 friends in different states. I submit some forms for them.
No.
I give the yearly membership and I ask them to come on the voting day and vote here.
No, you cannot. No. That's why I mentioned the word prayed and paid. Religious corporations law says you have to be a praying and paying member. It's not just paying, so they have to come to the masjid. Oh, yes.
So who will be
Imam.
so he has the right to deny
Yes. Yes. Technically, as per the Religious Corporation Law, Article 24, he can disqualify a voter just based on that. As per the Religious Corporation Law. No, not the BOT. BOT has nothing to do with that. It's only the Imam. Yeah. No, good question. Yes. No, absolutely. This is the fundamental rudimentary eligibility criteria, and we're establishing a first-time database, but there will be a little bit of that there, and that's why I'm partly to appease that and alleviate that criteria, the one that you're pointing out, is why we're going through this exercise also. I actually want to see 444 people when I see here on a regular basis, except for Jummah, not even 2 saf completed. Who are these 444 people?
So is that this going to be like authorized by the imam before the election day? He can go through the list and if he has doubt that he didn't know this person, so what's the criteria? How can we make sure that these 444 people are the people who came to the masjid
Right.
and are living in this locality?
Right. So we have their addresses, we have their demographic data. We already went through, before making this list, Imam Saab and I and a couple of other people, including Brother Fawad, we have gone through the list. Obviously, there are going to be some people that the Imam Saab is not going to know. But there are not that many, but there are certain people that we are not sure whether they are doing just payment of fees and they actually frequent the masjid or not. The Imam Sahib has gone through that list. So over the next 30 days, that's the purpose of this exercise, to figure that part out also. But yes, at the end of the day, if the Imam Sahib, there are many people that Imam Sahib said, I have no idea who these people are. I've never seen them. This is also very difficult when it comes on the sister side, because the Imam Sahib doesn't have a very regular interaction with the sisters. So we're going to have to see, that's why the whole 30-day process where people at least come and don't send a proxy or someone else to fill out their form or submit it online or something like that. We have to verify that. And that's why we're taking the next 30 days to do so. You had a question? Yeah.
Like, if we have timing on the election day from like for 6 to 8.
Right.
If somebody's coming in at 8,
Right.
10, because last time when we had a corporation election, it happened that people are coming late and we have to ask every time they come.
So that,
Because you are showing so much leniency, so I don't want that.
yeah, I know.
One time, if you can come 10 minutes late, you can have 10.
Yeah, no, look, I'm showing leniency on the ability for you to become a member and verify your membership, not for the rules. The rule is, if you don't have a green light, no matter what you say, you're not going to vote that day. You've had 30 days. That is very strict. So, and the timing. The timing I was going to address in my third topic, which was balloting. Whatever time, by that time, 6:30 p.m., if you are not here within the certain amount of time, which will be, let's say, I don't know what Asr time will be around June 15th, but let's say if we say actually we're going to make it 6 p.m. 6 p.m. is when the election starts. If you are not here at the latest by 6:10, it will be a 10-minute grace period because you're planning on, we're informing you 30 days ahead, so plan ahead. 10 days, so that's strict enough for you?
Like after timing that, like
After 6:10, you're not eligible, you're not allowed to vote. That's like polling station will close.
okay.
Yes. Okay. Yeah, June 15th. June 15th. Uh-huh. Okay. All right. Well, actually, that's a good suggestion because as I'm thinking about it, that actually works better. So here, because then you're also right because that night we're going to have a lot of problems. All right. Your cutoff date is what is because we need actually time to go through all of that. What is what day is June 10th?
Monday.
Good. Perfect. Your cutoff date is June 10th, midnight. June 10th, midnight. Anybody after that we're not going to accept, they can still become members and do that, but they're not going to be eligible to vote. June 10th, midnight. Yes. Yes. Yes, I'm trying to get to that. Okay. All right. So the next step is, and then that's why I did the Q&A sort of like along. All right. Now is the eligibility of the candidates. Okay. How is that going to happen? So first I want to explain to you who you are, what you are voting for. This is the management structure, which is on our website. Our management is, Masjid Al-Quran's management is divided into, composed of the Imam, who also acts as a director of religious affairs, an 18-member board of trustees, and a youth director. This is the management. Right now, we have board of trustees divided into 2 categories. One is called the eldership board, and one is called the elective trustees. This is the eldership board, this is the elective trustees. This is what you're voting for, these 9 people. Now you notice over here, these 3 people were part of the elective trustees as a result of a certain process that transpired last year. All these 9 positions is what you're voting for. How are you going to vote? Well, first, let's talk about the eligibility of the candidates. A candidate is eligible to be a candidate for the trustees is as long as they are consecutive members, they've paid their membership dues for 2 consecutive years, and they have served at least 1 year on one of the committees. Very simple. 2 consecutive years as a member, plus 1. Now, difference between eligibility to vote. Eligibility to vote, 2 years consecutive membership with the leniency that we are providing for the first ever time elections. But for a candidate, you have to have served 1 year on a committee related to the masjid. What you're going to do is, you yourselves are going to look at, so for example, Brother Tayyab looks at his name on the list, and he says, I've paid membership for 2 years, and I've served on the youth committee. Hypothetically, well, this is actually factually true, but let's use that as an example. Is he eligible to be a candidate for a trustee? Yes or no? Yes, right? He will then, now here's the second cut. So one cutoff point is June 10th. The other thing, also by June, which will be 10 days before because we need more time to create the ballots, by May 30th, which is 19 days from now, you are going to submit this is not a nomination. Remember, religious corporation law, we're not nobody's going to nominate. Yes, you can encourage. I can go to Brother Fawad and say, Brother Fawad, I think you would serve this masjid really well. I think you should be. But I can do that in my own individual capacity as an encouragement, as an exhortation, as an advice, as a suggestion, not as a campaign. But it's his responsibility that he informs me. He sends his paper, which we're going to put now their candidacy form, that I, Tayyib Zaman, or I, Fawad Khan, would like to be a candidate for the trustees. That's the process. Clear? Simple, very simple. You as a candidate should want to serve. If you think that you are somebody who can serve this masjid and should be elected trustee, I would encourage that you yourself should come forward. This is not a paid position. This is serving the house of Allah. Don't be modest. There's no novelty or nobility in saying that, nobody suggested that I should. You should want to. And it's okay to want to be trustees, but as long as you think. So all you have to do is make sure. So by May 30th, you're going to email us with proof of your membership and your committee serve of 1 year. That's all we need. We're going to do that, and we're going to make sure that and consult, and then the imam is going to sit, and the imam is going to say that yes, this person has come for such a long time. Most of the people, hopefully, inshallah, will be screened to be positive for the candidacy. I mean, if somebody hasn't attended the masjid, well, they couldn't have, because if you're part of the committee, then you obviously have served the masjid in some capacity or another. So that's the simple criteria. The deadline for your candidacy submission is May 30th. May 30th, you have to inform by writing. There will be a separate email again. I think the same membership at Masjid al-Quran. Yes. So officially, no. Officially, no. There is no number. There can be as many people. Individual. No panel. No. No grouping, no cohorting, no cahooting, no nothing. Individual. And I am telling you this right now. No campaigning. But I'm telling, please understand this. If I see an email or a video or a YouTube or anything saying that do this or do that, that disqualifies you. Please don't do that. We don't need to do that. Trust in the process. Trust the people. Let them elect who they think would serve this masjid better. That is one way we're going to come out of whatever we endured last year. Part of this is to move towards that and come towards that. All of this reincorporation that we did over the last year, it ultimately leads to bringing and unifying this community under one proper, acceptable, amenable, amicable administration. We don't want to repeat what we have gone through. The only way to do that is everybody be honest to yourself and be honest to the house of Allah. Any questions on the candidacy? Make sense? Sure. As long as they've served, as if, okay. I consulted with, there are differing opinions on that, but by and large, with the exception of, in the religious corporation law, with the exception of imam, anybody else can run, even if they are paid. Yes, he can, but as long as he's paid his membership fees. As long as he fulfills the criteria.
Brother Irfan,
Yes.
you said that no campaign, no nothing,
No,
no,
no.
panel, nothing else.
Mhm.
But for example, somebody X candidate, he or she can ask the other Musulli that I am this and this position I voting. So he or she can do it.
No, I shouldn't do it. I cannot prevent people to do it. They should not.
Nobody can say I am this, I'm doing.
So for example, if I understand your example correctly, if you want to run, right? You come to me and you say that, brother, please vote for me. Don't do that.
So silent.
Silent. Absolute silent.
I just make sure.
Yeah, absolute. Silent. Because you want the community to be able to elect. This way we know that the people who are being elected are representing the community because the community completely impartially voted for them. That's why no campaigning. Let the people decide who are the people who should be doing this. Yes, sir. Yes, 18 and above. 18 and above.
But if I know that this guy is running, can I tell somebody that he's running? At least that's it.
Last question coming.
Please, please, please.
The thing is, obviously, there are people who are going to run. Not everyone is going to know all the people here. So there's, like, you cannot go outright and campaign. Like, okay, if you're running, vote for this, this. But there is, people are going to say, like, this is a person, brother, I know well, and, I think this person of I, so you're not going to people are not going to get disqualified with that. So people don't know who that is. People usually typically only know a few names.
Yeah.
That's name recognition. So once so many people run,
Yeah, so to keep it on the down low, don't, just don't let me see you doing it so visibly that just keep it a little bit on the down low. But here, on a serious note, we have to get to 8 o'clock. On a serious note,
Election, but silent election.
it's not silent, but it's impartial. Yeah, but like Fawad said, I mean, some things are human nature. I mean, it's going to be difficult to prevent that. I'm just saying blatant campaigning and blatantly, cohorting and cahooting and all that, and getting together in restaurants and basement of the masjid and deciding that we're going to make sure that this person. I highly suggest. There's no empirical way for me to prevent that, but I highly suggest don't do that. That's the best way to run an election. Lots of questions, please.
So is there going to be like a list of nominees?
Yeah. So what I'm going to do, yes.
Will it be like a meet the candidate thing?
Yeah, there should be. You're very right, actually. There should be one meet. But in this case, no, we're not going to have a meet the candidate night. But what we're going to do is we are going to. That's why I'm putting May 30th as a deadline. So May 30th, once we get that, let's say a week before that, we will put the list on that these are the people that you'll be, so that people can make their mind and whatever. But it will be very close to the election, so it's not that everybody is campaigning and all that, because we also have to see how many people actually come. And also, one point here, and then I'll take questions. There are going to be people, even though I said that you don't have to be modest or novel about this, there are going to be people that you might think should be in the trustees or should be a certain position, like president or vice president or secretary and treasurer, and I'll explain to you how that position is going to come from the trustees. On the ballot, in addition to the name of the candidates, there will be a field called other. Okay? You can always write in. So for example, Brother Farooq is a very modest man. I think he should be running for the election for president of this masjid. So when I put on the ballot, I don't see his name because he never sent me his nomination, his candidacy form. I can decide to put his name. And there have been elections. I've consulted with 9 masajid on how they did their election. This basically is a synthesis or a derivative of the 9 masajid that I talked to on how they ran their elections. So I wanted to consult and see we're not doing anything differently. There are people, there was one election where the person who was written in as other got elected more than the people who were on the ballot. So there, you can always do that. You know, if you, that sort of subliminally, implicitly answers your question that in case there are people that you think should be, you know, voting or something like that, or then you can do that, you know. But do it all on the ballot paper. I'm trying to run this election in a manner as transparently and as honestly as possible, which just the fact terminology election in and of itself is not transparent. So it's very obvious there's a problem. But let's not have this problem. Yes, sir.
Referring to his campaign, you can write another name and Iqbal this person. Then if his thinking, individual thinking, then how the people going to know that this person is on the list and people going to elect him? It will be like a
Because when we tabulate, when the 5 of us sit down and tabulate, and it just turns out to be that of the 211 people that show up, 140 wrote another name, then that's how we're going to announce it. No. I can't prevent that. I'm just saying that, you know, certain things that no matter US elections or Pakistan elections or Bangladesh elections or MDQ elections, there are certain things I'm not going to be able to prevent. People will do what they want to do. I only can exhort that for the sake of the unification and honesty and integrity of this masjid, please don't do it. Yes, sir.
without the consent of the person.
Let's say somebody meet all the criteria they want to run. They register, everything is good. And you stand here, Juma, and tell people I'm running for the board, I want you to vote for me. Is that illegal?
That person will be immediately disqualified.
Why?
Because he's campaigning. I just gave a 10-minute lecture on not to campaign.
How did he tell his agenda and what he's going to do?
No. There's no agenda. Come to the masjid.
But there's 20 people standing, for the position.
So you should, the whole point is, look, I didn't make these laws. The laws were made by religious corporation law people. They said that it has to be prayed and paid. You should know the community. You should know the people. Do you know how they do exactly these elections in all the churches and synagogues, where the religious corporation derives from, and then they do Article 24? Is exactly this way. Nobody is allowed to campaign because every Sunday, the deacon or the minister tells them, those people come and they frequent, and the community knows them, and that's when those people get on the ballot or get elected, and community selects them based on their service, not on the day of right before the election that they go and give their agenda.
Like if you're 10 people, I just know 5 people. So
Then you vote for one of those. It just so happens that you know of 5 people. But the idea is, for this process to transpire like this, is that you should frequent the masjid and know the masjid and know its people and what they do. Not just the people who are at the front line all the time, but everybody else. And that's why the religious corporation law specifically states that the people who are even membership pray and pay. We are under Article 24. We have to follow that. Right? Yes, sir.
Two of the things that I'm going to address. One is like, I think there's certain level of campaign for community to know the people. Like if someone is, like for someone I know is quality, he's a really good organizational person, he comes to this much. Not everyone knows about him, because some people only come just on Friday, but they're part of those 444 people's list. How are they going to know this person is capable, this person does this for Masjid? Unless someone
Right. That's why, Fawad, I said, if you're going to make an argument for that, that's why I said there are certain things that better not spoken. There are certain rules that we have to work under. If there are certain people that you want to introduce and you want, that's why I said you want to encourage, you want to inform other people, as long as you're not blatantly. Very, yeah, exactly. And that those things cannot be empiricalized, you know. I cannot put in an empirical format that if you do this, then, like that brother asked a question. Now that is, yes, is not allowed. That you stand outside, that's not allowed. That's explicit campaigning, right? Right. So before I take any, yes, and I agree with Fawad that certain people that you don't know, but again, remember the concept, what you, brother, asked. You know, the concept again is, and hopefully we can inculcate that and implement that in this community, that, you know, the more you come, the more people, that's why there's this requirement of having served 1 year on a committee. So if I know that Ramon Pradhan has served on a particular committee, I see he served on, so I know him through his service. Now, Fawad's point is also well taken. What if a new person has come in the community and has certain abilities? Even then, the religious corporation law says they have to pay their dues. They should first be encouraged to serve on a committee rather than go directly into the trustee election. That's the process. You have to go through that process. Yes, everybody. So that's why it's only 1 year. 1 year serve a committee. So what you do is, instead of encouraging that person to run for the election for the trustee, what you should be doing is say, brother, we have you're, for example, an IT expert. Then you say, brother, you know, we would like you to come to be part of this election, or to be part of it, to be a trustee eventually, but our requirement is that you should serve at least 1 year on a committee. That's what our bylaws say. So we would like you to come and work under Brother Ramon Pradhan, who is the head of IT committee. Do that rather than, okay, but we have to get this person in the trustee, because except for, and that's the last thing I want to, I mean, we only have 9 minutes, is the treasurer part, but I'm going to come to it. But let's just, before I take questions, you're going to elect these 9 people. Election will be 2-staged. First ballot, there will be 2 ballots. First ballot will be just for the 9 trustees. The second, then you will sit down, and we will go through that process. Just watch the reincorporation video from January 28th, pretty much same format. And then we're going to, this is the difference between what used to happen, where bylaws weren't followed before, is that these 4 people, the executive committee, comes out of this 9 people. It's not a separate committee, but previously we used to appoint. Board of Trustees used to appoint a president, There's no appointment, there's no nomination anymore. What will happen is you will first select these 9 trustees, and then there will be a separate ballot for people who will want to, and we will also, when you ask the candidacy forms or the candidacy, we will also ask in those candidacy forms, would you like to be vying for one of these 4, which 4 positions? President, Vice President, Treasurer, and Secretary. These are the 4 positions, and you will indicate your preference for that, and then there will be a second ballot which will say, after these 9 trustees are elected, that these are the people who want to run for these positions. So we will do a 2-stage, 2-ballot election. Yes, sir. Say again? Yeah. Yeah, because we're electing 9 trustees. So if you will vote for 10, it won't make sense.
So, Brother Irfan, no nomination fee, no nothing, right?
No nomination?
Any fee for nomination for
No. No nomination. You want people to, this is a, sir, this is, sir. Huh? Yeah, sure. One second. Okay, go ahead.
I have 2 questions. One, that if you have more than 9 people,
Uh-huh.
or maybe 12 people, how you determine that these 9 people qualify for the trusteeship? Number 1. Number 2.
Well, number 1, because they will be 2 years consecutive member and 1 year on a committee.
No.
Yeah. There could be 30 people. I'm going to put 30 people on the ballot. All 30 people on the ballot. You're only voting for 9. It's up to you guys to vote. Second question, yes.
Said, you can have new members. I think I would prefer more that whatever the list we have, we should encourage those people to renew their.
That's already 444 people,
So that's what I'm saying.
but we're allowing renewal. Yeah, that's fine. We're allowing renewal. अब मैं एक जगह पे वो रोकूंगा और फिर दूसरी जगह पे नहीं रोकूंगा उससे बेहतर है एक जून 10th की डेडलाइन दे दी है ठीक है इट्स ओके फॉर वन टाइम
One important question is there are a lot of people who have served for different committees
या
much earlier, like maybe 10 years ago or something like that. So is there a limit to when they have served? So if someone like Salim, he served on a committee a long time ago, he is eligible to run?
Yes, the consecutiveness, good point for what. The consecutiveness is for the membership, the 2 years membership. At any time if you have served on, it doesn't have to be in the last year. As long as you've served this masjid on a committee at any time, that's fine. That was true even before. As long as it's a committee that emanates from the masjid, MDQ school is a separate organization that comes under as a child entity, but there's no, unless there, do you currently have an education committee that, I know we don't, because we're looking at those issues right now. So, no, it has to be committees that emanate from within the masjid.
In regards to the committees, right, what are we saying? Just the EC that has existed?
No, no, no.
Or are we saying anything and
Like IT committee, youth committee, Dawa committee, Iftar committee. I'll give you examples. All the different committees. In Ramadan, we have people who serve the Iftar committee, Dawat committee, food committee. As long as you have a named committee next to it.
But has that ever been like finalized? These people are on the iftar committee.
They, again, just like so many other things over the 35 years that haven't been formalized, we know people. That's why they're going to, I know that during Ramadan, who are the people who are going to be, if all of a sudden somebody says that, we're going to verify. I know, brother, you are on the, for example, you are on many committees, I think. Which one, well, give me one committee that you are on. Iftar? Iftar. So, he's on Iftar committee, right? I know that he's on Iftar committee. So you come and say that, brother, I served on the Iftar committee. I'm going to verify it from him, unless you paid him off.
Okay, but then in the future,
In terms of committees, the committees, MDQ has certain previous constitution had for previous elected committees. So which included IT committee, which included which maintenance committee, facilities committee. So there are certain committees, those committees. Now there are certain committees which are very temporary committees. So I assume Irfan is not going into those committees, but so it needs to be fleshed out.
Listen, again, look at the spirit. Try thinking from this point of view. Look at the spirit of this elections. The spirit of this election is so that we can bring this masjid in a unified format there are a lot of leniency. I know the moment I walk out, I'm going to get some very scathing emails from people. I always get emails. And they're like, brother, this is against the bylaws and all that. One, I have consulted and seen what is allowed and what is not allowed, given we have certain leniency for the first time. The idea is to bring this masjid in particular from this election point of view, from the spirit of bringing unification, but also to actually, empirically speaking, bring a database in existence. If we don't do this right now, the amount of time it took me to do this 444 members and looking at their this and looking at their form and all that, the reason why we're doing it, so that from here onwards, a lot of these things that you're touching upon, hopefully will evolve and develop into better formats that we all expect from other. But this first time, yes. Sure.
We only have 2 minutes. I have two
Yeah.
questions.
Yes.
One said yes and no. I'll ask that first. When we will have a list of nominated people, we can ask if we don't know those people. We can
Right.
ask about those people, and we can even reach out to that
Right.
candidate, and we can ask them about their education, background, and stuff. So that will not be counted as a campaign, right?
No. If you're asking someone because you want to know it's like instead of what the sister was suggesting, meet the candidate, you can do sort of get to know the candidate, but on your own volition.
Yeah, that's my, because if we are member, we have responsibility.
Yes, yes.
And another question, you have in a trustee, you have only like criteria, brother is serving in a commission for a year. No sister is there, never. So how we are gonna get involved in future?
We could have just ended 5 minutes ago and that question wouldn't have come. So here's the thing. For this election, I know that we talked about how the sisters are going to be part of the board of trustees and all that. Where's Imam Sahib? Okay, Imam Sahib, just last, 8:05. What time is the salat? Okay, 8:05. I'm going to end with this last question. Okay, 8:05. And this is a very important question, and this question is also from a youth point of view and a sister's point of view, right? So what we are going to do, this election, it will not be possible to have a sister or a youth in the trustee. And because you have to understand that we're sort of, evolving from a very long drawn. So what we're going to do is we're going to, with the consultation, and we're going to discuss, what we're doing is we're going to create 2 trustees committee, for example, which will groom people, allow people to be part of it. One is going to be called YTC, Youth Trustee Committee. The other is going to be Sisters Trustee Committee. Next time, when we have the elections, I'll go into in more detail, and we're going to form those committees. And what will happen is, hypothetically speaking, for example, we will have 6 members in each who will be groomed and trained so they can come into the election 2 years from now. Okay. Jazakallah. Thank you very much. And all these other things, you can watch this session. Any questions? A detailed instruction sheet will be sent out. Monday, the list will be available. Thank you very much. Assalamu alaikum.